this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with...
Chris.
Lee.
No Dan.
No Dan.
No, he's been secret squirrel.
Well, he's gone on holiday.
Well,
3 weeks is away for. We're gonna have to hold this together in his absence all the way through launches and testing.
and everybody knows Dan is the one who makes us sensible.
It's fucked, isn't it?
Yeah. So we are appealing now. If you hear us not be sensible at any point during the podcast, yeah, it'll probably happen.
Or
So-
if there's a Dan out there that wants to come around and fill his shoes.
Yeah?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, we are taking applications for pay drivers while Dan's away.
Anybody want to be temporary Dan?
That mouldy spud I put in his seat seems to
No.
be doing an honourable job.
No, it's not keeping us sensible.
What?
Exactly.
Yes.
Right, well, we've got too much to talk about to be talking about other things.
Do you know
want to
what?
talk-
Last week we were complaining that nothing had happened and could please somebody make some news for us, and now this week we're a little bit overloaded with news.
We have got absolutely shitloads of news.
Did you do a swear?
I did a swear.
Oh.
Oh no! Is anyone going to get into trouble for that?
Absolute cunt.
Oh fuck!
If you swear, just tell them to fuck off.
Like, if it was your mum, for instance, that's worried about what you're listening to, maybe you shouldn't be such a precious bellend.
In jokes out of the way, let's do some news. Sauber, we're going to be the first to get the photos of the 2017 car out. And
Absolutely.
then Williams kind of gazumped them on Friday.
Well, yeah, BBC is still claiming that Sauber are the first to launch their 2017 car because Williams' car was just a graphic model and not not the car. Whereas Sauber have released photos of the car.
Yeah,
It's a photo
but it's still the car, as in that.
Oh yeah, that's what it will look like.
Pictures that you see of Britney Spears on the front of magazines are pictures of Britney.
On the what of magazines? You meant to say front of magazines then, or
Did I
cover.
Yeah,
You tried to say front and cover at the same
Did
time.
I just say cover?
No.
you said cunt.
Did I?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I'm telling your mum.
what I'm trying to say is that I'm sure there's been more.
It's still
than
Britney
a
Spears.
Splish splash of Photoshop on
Yeah.
the Sauber stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, quite possibly. I mean, everybody will have seen the Sauber car by
There's
now.
a fucking first.
I know.
Hooray.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Sauber have had more publicity in one day than they had all the way through last season, except for Monaco.
And I think it looks all right. It looks pretty good. And then I took a closer look and I was wholly disappointed because they are essentially sponsoring themselves.
Well, what I thought was funny is those big white bits on the side of the car. Apart from having 3 legs, 4 wheels, and a nice flag on them now. They might as well just say your name here. Or how funny would it be? You know, if you
Talking to the 3 legs, 4 wheels on the side, massive thank you to Daniel Gustafsson.
yeah,
Thank
For
you,
having,
Daniel.
for having a really slow day at work and putting our logo on the side of the
Yeah.
car. That is excellent.
But the funny thing with the fuck if it's gone. It's gone.
It's gone.
You shouldn't have interrupted my flow, man.
Your
white-
name here, is that
the
what you're
white
saying?
panels on the side, it should say your name here. And
Oh, sorry, that was what I was going to say. Wouldn't it be great if a Formula One team was just dead honest for a bit, and it said like say the side pod just had £50,000 a race, or I just had the prices
Yeah.
on the individual cuts of the car.
Yeah, that would be quite cool, actually.
just like you used to see it in a little pop-up tooltip that came up when you were playing Grand Prix Manager on
yeah,
years
yeah.
Yeah.
just have that for real.
Yeah,
What do we think about the overall look? Because we now have it confirmed that shark fins are back for starters.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a slightly subdued shark fin, isn't it, on the Sauber? They've painted it black. I mean it's big, but they painted it black.
It's subdued in colour, but not in size.
No,
I think
it's if you look at where the old
they've done what fat people do. They wear stripes to make themselves look thinner.
something
They
like
obviously
that.
think it looks ugly because I don't think it'll be black on the car. I think they've merely painted that black because it's a black background.
Well, they might have done,
You know,
but
just to lose it a
I
bit.
think I like that accentuated line on the back of the
Yeah.
of the airbox. That looks cool.
I have a problem with these cars. Who knows? We're going to see all of them, aren't we, very soon? And I'm not really
Before next week's podcast, we should have all of the cars.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to pass judgment on what I think of the cars until I see them on a track. But I think Formula One might have painted itself into a corner here because they've bulled this up about how revolutionary the 2017 cars are going to be, how it's massive aero changes, it's this, it's that, it's the other. And they look exactly the fucking same, very near.
The Williams one does. The images that were released of the Williams car. But I think the main problem is that they've taken photos or used graphic model angles from angles that don't show off the new thing. I mean, Williams, when they released the images of their graphic model, which I actually thought was photos of a car, if I'm honest. The most striking differences were the image from behind the car. That was a huge difference, a massive difference. And the one from the front of the car.
Yeah, but they still don't look cool.
I think they do.
They still just look like an evolution of the current Formula One cars.
Yeah,
and I think the Formula One got me excited, and the teams got me excited that as soon as these rules were muted, it's not muted even.
Muted's what I'll have to do to your channel if you swear again.
These teams were. I'm just going to glance over that because it's not funny anymore. And these concept pictures that teams were putting out of cars as soon as the new ideas came, and they look fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
you're basically pissed off because it's not really a full step closer to Wipeout.
No, well, yes, exactly.
Yeah, like the Red Bull Gran Turismo car.
Yeah,
and the McLaren MPX or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and see the thing was
MCLX now, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I was watching Formula E at the weekend, and it was shit.
That was 1060.
But
sorry, 1160.
What?
If it was the McLaren MCLX.
Oh. Yeah, Formula E was shit. But I was thinking to myself, right, I want young people to get into Formula One. And I don't mean like adolescents, I mean children. I want children to start watching Formula One.
And think it's exciting.
Find it exciting and then become fans through their lives. Because that's what keeps the sport healthy.
Yeah.
I was looking at these cars thinking, if I was a child and somebody showed me a picture of a Formula One car, a Indy car, and a Formula E car, I, as a child, not knowing what they are, would think the Formula One car was the slowest.
Yeah.
Because the other two look faster.
Yeah, I get you, because the Formula One car's got too many bits on it.
Yeah. And like the Formula E car with those cool wings they have now.
The lobster.
Yeah, and it's.
I quite like that. I've got. To be honest.
I like it as well. Yeah, the problem with Formula E is Formula E. Actually, what the car looks like is sound. If you had a toy like that, you'd think it was great.
Yeah.
But I remember was it last year or the year before that the massive rule changes came forward, and it was because of Manor and. I'm trying to think whether it would have been Caterham at the time as well, maybe. But basically, a couple of the smaller teams said, we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to go with what you're giving us.
Yeah, which hence why you had that Caterham dildo underneath there. The nose cone 2013, was it?
But so what happened was they rolled back a load of the rules, if you remember. Like some of the supposed changes.
Yeah.
There was a idea put forward for what these regulations would be this year. It was knocked back, a new one was put together, and that's what everyone agreed upon. So the problem is and considering that one of the teams has already gone fucking bust, I think what we have is a half step this year.
Yeah, it's Formula One has never.
It's an Apple update.
Yeah, Formula One has never been great at compromise, and that's what these new rules are. But some of the parties that were part of the compromise and the reason for the compromise aren't even there to reap the benefit of it.
No. I know what you're saying. I mean, I actually there are some interesting aero things that I've spotted on the Sauber car. Mostly that they're because we are going into like an aerodynamic based formula more than anything else. It's become more centric more aerodynamic centric.
Yeah.
So a lot of the bodywork have got a lot of the car's bodywork is going to have to be more shaped, even more so than they have been in recent years. If you look at the Williams, for example, there's a huge amount of floor space. Yeah, Williams. Oh. There's a huge amount of floor space between the edge of the floor and where the start of the airbox is, the side pod. That it looks kind of ridiculous, but Williams obviously think that's the fastest way forward. But,
they are the regulations now. The floor width's more giving the teams the opportunity to attach extra barge boards on it for extra aero where it's needed. Mm-hmm. So that is this year's X-Wings.
Yeah, and there's sponsors, by the looks of things, on some of the mock-ups I've seen on the actual floors, because you're going to be looking down on the floors and. Sponsor on the floor? Good Lord,
Williams had that last year though.
Yeah. But the Sauber thing, the interesting thing I was about to point out with the Sauber was their nose is very similar to last year's sort of Manor McLaren sort of style. It's very sloped, quite wide, and almost platypusy sort of platypusy.
It doesn't have the big sort of scoop drop when it was the real platypus build.
Yeah. It's not a smooth decline. It's not like the Ferrari is quite a smooth decline nose, and it's not like that. It's out and then quite not an angle. But
I actually think the front of the car looks ugly.
I think it looks all right.
Do you know what I think? I think the front of the Sauber looks like, and it could be the
2016 Manor. I think it looks like to me.
No, even worse. The '97 Mastercard Lola. That
maybe
completely failed to qualify for its only race.
And if anyone wants to have a little look at this, it was on F1 Fanatic, which whenever new cars come up, F1 Fanatic puts a fucking fantastic thing together where they have They find another picture of last year's car, which is in a similar position, and overlay them so you can do a little switcheroo to compare them. And the front is actually last year's Sauber. The only difference is it's a bit further forward.
Yeah.
That front wing, not the front wing. There's more elements on this year's front wing to last year.
But it's a wider front wing.
But that actual nose, that sort of M-shaped nose, is exactly the same as last year's car.
Well,
part of the new regulations is the front wing is a lot deeper.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see the same thing on the Force India then, whether they'll stick with the nostrils.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do, because
it's their design philosophy at the minute.
It's their thing, and as we've said countless times, they will design the front wing to route the air through those nostrils.
It just depends with whatever that air was doing going through the nostrils, given the fact that the tyres are bigger at the back and the back's bigger in general, whether that air will be going in the same place now.
Some of the air going through the nostrils was routed to the brake cooling, so you'd think with the bigger tyres you're going to need more energy to stop them, so they're going to need
bigger brakes,
proportionally bigger amount of cooling as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the nostrils staying on the Force India.
Hope so. It's a nice thing.
It's individual, put it that way.
Yeah. Another thing that I've noticed on the Sauber, looking at the one where it's kind of on a angle facing the bottom corner of the photo. Yeah. The inlets on the side pods look incredibly small in comparison to last year.
But the Ferrari, that's a knock on from the Ferrari engine, isn't it? Because didn't the Ferrari have small air intakes as well?
I'm not sure. I've got a feeling the side pods are almost standardised as well across Formula One teams.
Also, notice the fact that there's a split airbox like the 2014 Mercedes. 2014?
Yes.
I think it was, yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, on the angle of the photo that Sauber have released, you can only see one half of it. And it kind of looks, if you're not paying too much attention, it looks like a D-shaped airbox. But I'm assuming it's the same on the other side.
Yeah,
it
is.
It's not flat fronted.
It's flat straight down the middle.
The airbox actually tapers back. Just also want to point out to Sauber, while we're on the subject of the livery and what it looks like. If you're celebrating 25 years in something, the traditional one that goes with that is silver and not gold.
Yeah, 25 years, except it's not 25 years. And also, why gold? They've never won anything. They've won a race as BMW Sauber.
And maybe the odd sports car race.
Maybe, but 25.
There
I
is-
think they're celebrating 25 years of Formula One, aren't they?
It's their 25th season.
It's their 25th season because their first season was 93. So it's their 25th season. So at the end of this year, they will have completed 25 years. So what they're celebrating at the moment is that's kind of like a 24-year-old kid celebrating his 25th birthday for an entire year.
Is it really gold because of the 25 years, or is that just the colours they picked? Because to me, looking at that, I wouldn't have thought that's gold because it's an anniversary. I just look at it as like, that's just the highlight colour they picked.
Well, it says 25 years in gold.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But
Yeah.
I don't think that's gold because it's 25 years.
Yeah, but is there
I think
anything
it's 25
else?
years and it just happens to be gold.
Is there anything else on the car that's in gold?
No, but I think that
The mirrors.
otherwise it'd just be blue and white. So I think they've just used that as a.
The mirrors,
Is
the
there highlight?
detailing down the side of the nose and all the front wing elements. Yeah.
It's just part of the car design in my eyes.
Yeah, there's been a few comments on it. Funniest one being friend of the show, Sean Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs Gold War or Gitan logos on it because it is the 1996 Ligier.
It's very close to being the...
Looking at those air inlets, they are awfully small, aren't they?
Yeah, they are quite small. I noticed that earlier, actually. But if you look... Are you still looking at the photo there of the facing the bottom corner of the...
Yeah.
If you look at the amount of floor space between the side pod and the actual edge of the floor.
There is...
That's sizable. It's huge.
Yeah. There is quite a lot. I mean, I noticed that Sauber have gone for the size 0 back end, but then again, that's
That's
probably
what
because of
everyone will probably be going for.
But that's the engine as well, because it's the Ferrari engine, and they've continued. You know, they had the had the smaller rear.
They're using a
profile.
2016 Ferrari engine, aren't they?
But it's last year's Ferrari engine, yeah.
Yeah.
For our listeners, if you're listening to this at home and you can't, or you're on the bus or something, you can do. It might not be a bad idea to pull a picture of the Sauber up at the minute while we're talking about it.
Yeah, that's probably, if you haven't already done that, an awesome thing to do.
One of these days we'll do one of these enhanced podcasts where you can get the pictures tied into the...
We are doing an enhanced podcast. Dan isn't here.
That's harsh,
You
Lee.
are being really harsh on him. He's on a different continent. He can't answer back.
Hey, that's not my fault. I'm here, bro. He knows where I am.
We'll move on. Should we talk about Williams, because they got the mock-up of theirs out.
Yeah, it's grand. Just we're still talking about cars, so I can slat in what I was going to say in a second. Carry on.
Right.
Yeah, the Williams car, unflattering livery-wise, Martini. Well, I say unflattering, I think it's actually one of the best-looking liveries on the grid. But unflattering changes. And I don't think the livery helps with the Williams car. But on that Williams, you get more of a sense on that than I think you do with the Sauber, of quite how slung back that rear wing is.
Yeah, but it's not real, is it?
Well, it's the model. It's the graphic model, which is that's what it's going to look like.
Well, yeah, it's a representation of it, but I don't. Not for 1 minute do I think that's anything more than an artist impression.
It's pretty much going to be what the car's going to look like. Just there's not pictures of the actual car.
So no, I think
They wouldn't have released it otherwise.
One thing that I did notice about the Williams, now whether this holds true when the actual car's released, is the nose angle, the nose drop, looks a hell of a lot steeper than the Sauber one does.
It could be the Martini lines that's making it look like that.
It could.
Because it's just the way those lines sweep out from the bottom of the nose, I think draws it out more. I think that might be a perspective thing.
Yeah, because the lines are actually running down the top rather than the side, so it's hard to tell. But the side pod inlets are a lot bigger.
See, I look at this and I wonder whether Williams feel they have something for next year, because I don't believe for a sec. I don't believe that those wings on the side, like the side pod wings, are going to look like that, because the Sauber looks nothing like that.
You mean the ones just next to the
Yeah,
air
it's the
intake
side
there?
pods.
The barge pods. It looks like the photos they've released are it's set up in a high downforce configuration.
And again,
I don't think it's set up in any configuration. I genuinely do think someone's given someone a picture and parameters to work to.
yeah, but look at also the Shark Finn, on this one. It's less pronounced than it is
Yeah.
on the Sauber, and also on the Gazzetta dello Sport Ferrari artist impression, which they have been pretty close in the past with the shape of the Ferrari. So.
No, but I see. The thing is, I don't think it doesn't look like this year's car because they've done something bad. That picture says to me more that Williams think they have a couple of things that they don't want people seeing until it's on the track.
Who's got the sideways view of that Williams there, by the way?
Google.
If anybody else has got that there, just sort of zoom in and follow the nose cone up, level with the front wheels.
To whereabouts, where the sponsor's logo is on the...
Well, I've got
suspension?
that one up, and it kind of looks like the image is split a little bit, like somebody's accidentally done a bad Photoshop.
Oh, yes, it does.
So if anybody else... I'm wondering if they've sort of just stuck 2016 nose.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of the 2016 car in
that image doesn't match up because the
stripes don't line
the
up.
stripes don't line up.
And also it's a different shade of white.
Yeah.
And where is that white bump going? It's not going anywhere. It's going under the front of the car. Somebody's cocked up there.
And saying that as well, the side pods, the bits that I don't think are going to be on the final car, are the same side pods that were on last year's car.
I think they're slightly different.
No, but those things on the side.
Oh yeah,
The barge boards.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of last year's car, and they're exactly the same. So this, I don't think this is this is like a good representation.
you
of
could
that car.
you see now. I thought it was up until I spotted that split in the graphic. So you could very well be right, Lee.
Well, I mean, don't forget they stopped developing their car dead early last year, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they actually
Australia.
stopped. I think they formally announced it before the summer break.
Yeah, it was before Hungary.
Yeah.
Because if you remember when they said that they might have an update for Hungary.
Yeah.
And that would be the last update.
Oh yeah, that was the big. We're stopping developing the car, except
Apart
for
from
the bits that
yeah.
we're upgrading.
So the you'd like to hope they've got something else. See, this is the thing with looking at the Selva, and this is why I don't want to judge the new cars too much yet, is because it's fucking Selva, and given the fact that their budget consists of a Twix and 2 half-eaten Jelly Babies,
And Swiss
Which
chocolate.
half did they pull the heads off or bite the legs?
they pulled the head right off it. It's just not. I don't. They're going to be the most simple-looking car on the grid, aren't they?
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
you would think so, just because of the resources that they don't have.
But now, I've also been thinking about the overtaking shenanigans and how easy it's going to be to overtake and what the racing will be like with these cars. And I've thought there's been a lot of doom and gloom until today when I read that Adrian Newey has called into question that these cars might be very difficult to overtake in. And I tend to take notice when Adrian Newey says it more than a Pat Simmons, for instance. And it does make me wonder whether this could be the season where everybody that's involved in running Formula One now turns around and said, this year's shit because they picked the rules of it, but it's okay, we're going to fix this. And a bad year this year will be the launch platform for the Carey era.
Could be. It's interesting that Adrian Newey's come out and said overtaking is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Because Adrian Newey, Mr. Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much knows how aero works.
Pierre Vache, Red Bull's chief engineer of performance, says the 2017 car will be more difficult to overtake. It's coming from all of Red Bull.
Yeah.
What, their car or all of them?
All of them.
See, I think I wonder if we're going to get the same. You know how Mercedes.
And then he goes and contradicts himself by saying, however, due to the aerodynamic effect and more drag, the more time you'll spend on the straight, you'll have more opportunity than in previous years to overtake.
On DRS.
Yeah, I think that's from
Yeah. So it's basically, even if Red Bull are saying it's only going to be fake overtakes.
And I don't know whether I agree or disagree with that. It's a tough one when, you know, the overtakes are going to be made under DRS. I think what we're going to find is more cars in 2017 with the bigger front wings suffering from Mercedes-itis, where they can't follow. You know,
Well, Haas will be all right because Grosjean's front wing will have fallen off by lap 3.
I mean,
right,
realistically,
tank tape, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
with a bigger, lower rear wing, which with a rear wing which is essentially generating more downforce, that will mean that DRS is more efficient anyway.
It should do.
You know, it's because if that car in front of you has got a load more downforce, that's going to mean the downforce you dump off when you open your DRS is going to mean even more to you because they've got so much drag.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I've gone from being like so excited about having new cars this year to going, you fucked it again. You fucked it.
I wonder if now I'm not as upset as some people are. Whereas we've had a few comments, haven't we, about it seems to be like evolution, not revolution, and there's no crazy designs going on. See, now I don't see it as. I don't know why, but I've never seen it as more than a not quite as severe as the changes were for 2014, and the cars were a bit different going from 13 to 14, but no more different than the cars going from 2016 to 2017. If that makes any sense.
I know what you mean.
I know what you
no
mean.
more or less different than, you know, there was.
The problem is they couldn't go for a complete revolution this year because it's not been all that long since the last one when the hybrid era came in.
No, I think the big change with head protection and that not being a screen that wraps around sort of the current cockpit area. I think it'll be a canopy or, you know, something far more aerodynamic than what we've seen attached to the Red Bull car or the Halo device that we've seen tested. I think what we're gonna see is cars being more like what Lee was saying before about like the McLaren MPX that McLaren drew up, the Red Bull Gran Turismo car with, you know, perhaps like wheel covers on them as well, and you know, just following safety grounds because of the speed of the car. I think the cars are going to start to get faster again. What we expect in 2017, like 3 to 5 seconds a lap ish. Depending on the circuit.
Do you think this year's...
But that's the 3 to 5 seconds is really the only ones that have been putting that number out. Really, have been Pirelli.
Yeah, no, but that's 3 seconds for them, though, isn't it? But isn't it the idea of this whole 5 to 7 second is because the Pirelli's tyres will give 3. And then the cars themselves will give 2 or 3.
You'll get the extra from the speed through the corners.
Yeah, because you've got wider rear tyres as well. You've got more of a contact patch to push the car along. So they should accelerate quicker as well.
Do you think that because this Halo thing's disappeared and it looks like we're not going to have the Halo on the car in the form that it was debuted, you know, and tested by the looks of it, do you think these regulations, even when they got sent back and rewritten down and given out, do you think that we've had this evolution instead of revolution because they know that head protection is coming in? The guys inside Formula One probably know that it's going to be as an aesthetic purpose and as a fit for job purpose that a canopy is the future of Formula One. I think
quite possibly. I mean, you got to. Those words you just said and the words I just said were also the words of Ross Brawn as well.
He knows a thing or two.
Evolution, not revolution. He doesn't want to see like a drastic change from one year to the next. You think he's probably aiming for that canopy.
Yeah.
And the sort of concept cars we've seen designed for future F1, and he's sort of aiming to that, and he's probably got a year in mind as to when he thinks that should be in place, and it's going to have to be an evolution to step towards that.
I think it's probably going to be 2020, isn't it now?
Well, we're going to have...
That's the next big change after 2017.
We've basically been told that head protection will be there in one form or another next year, in 2018.
I suppose there's another way you've got to look at it as well, as an investment point, point of view for the teams. If they can go along as they are with the evolution thing, and whatever Chase Carey has planned for Formula One, let's just say, for instance, every team on the grid ends up with an extra 100 million, coming into the team.
Yeah.
I know it's a massive amount of money, but let's just as a number. If he was to show a considerable amount more money and more interest and more sponsorship coming into the sport, then you could write some fucking radical rules up and then go. And then it would be worth the teams going, well, look at the fucking money we've made. Look at where the sport's going. It is worth the investment to do this.
Yeah. Now let's go to town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's up to Chase Carey and his band of merry men.
Yeah.
To women? No, we spoke about this last week. Hardly any women.
I mean, I genuinely think the more I've thought about the takeover of Formula One, I think it's going to be good. And the reason I'm sort of definitely think it's going to be good is the fact that no other I was going to say Formula then, but no other sport in the world at the level Formula One is at was ran with such fuckery. It's is it going to, or how many races are we going to have on the grid? How many teams are going to be on the grid?
Yeah.
Are we going to splinter off and form breakaway series?
Yeah.
You see, like motorcycles don't have that problem,
No.
do they? Like MotoGP, you could have 18 riders on the grid. You could have 24.
Yeah.
Depends how many. Same with World Superbikes as
Yeah,
well.
the thing is that with MotoGP, Dorna are in complete control of it.
Yeah.
But they consult with all the teams,
Yeah.
all the manufacturers, all the stakeholders.
But Formula One does, but to be perfectly honest, that's where it seems to be the problem.
Yeah, but Dorna take it on board, and they don't have just one. They never had just one person in charge, who was like, right, I'm bored of this. Build me an electric spaniel.
Yeah. I would like an electric spaniel.
Imagine an electric spaniel stepping on its own ears.
Arf, arf, arf.
Yeah, wouldn't be the best, would it?
But yeah, that's why. It
Think of the carbon emissions.
That's why it doesn't happen in MotoGP. But again, I can't think of one sport now. Now that Sepp Blatter's not in charge of FIFA, where all the rules come down to the whims of one person.
Yeah, but let's think of something else then. Imagine a sport where 2 weeks before the opening event, the qualifying procedure is completely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These things just don't fucking happen in other things.
No.
And they shouldn't.
Yeah. So I hope there's sort of stability.
Football.
At a time, multi-ball.
Qualifiers for the UEFA playoffs for the 2010 World Cup. When it looked like France might not qualify, they jigged the rules to allow seeding so that France got an easier team and could get through to the final.
Oh, right.
Through to the finals, which is why they ended up playing Ireland, and then Thierry Henry cheated and punched the ball into the net, and France still went through and shouldn't have done. So yeah, they dicked about with that the week before the draw.
Nice. Well, it shouldn't happen.
But we're saying football, and that's because there was a nutter in charge.
Yeah. Well, two nutters, yeah. But Formula One is now not run by a dictator. And
I think we can say in the case of Bernie, it wasn't an out-and-out dictatorship; it was a benevolent dictatorship.
yeah, it was, yeah. But and we've got to, as much as we want to dream about cars of 2018 onwards, we're barely seeing the first few 2017 cars. We've got a week of launches now.
I've not given up on it by any stretch of imagination, but I am pessimistic now instead of optimistic.
Yeah, by next Monday, next podcast, we might be talking about. Have you seen what Mercedes have put on their car?
Ferrari hasn't got wheels.
Yeah, like what is that on that Mercedes? I don't even know what that is. Or McLaren have gone, what the hell is that on that McLaren? Like, why have they gone,
so.
hang on, why have they gone for the size 16 approach when everyone else has gone for the size 0? Everyone was copying McLaren, and now they've gone for like an IndyCar look.
Yeah,
Why?
that rear wing's on sideways, but it's got them an extra 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They've got cornering wings now. They've got wings that turn on the car.
I've got a funny feeling that Honda's just going to be powered by Alonso's anger this year.
That would buy nightmares.
Fernando's fury's worth like 10 seconds.
Per lap. Yeah.
I'll find the angry Fernando thing from the Fernando app, and I'll send that to you.
Fernando's
guys.
got his own app,
Absolutely glorious.
That
It is,
is
isn't it?
that is the best 89 pence I have ever spent on the official Fernando Alonso emoji app.
That the emoji of him in the deck chair is such a t-shirt.
It's great, isn't
I
it?
fucking want
It's
that.
wonderful.
Want
Yeah.
that in my life.
Yeah, if you've got, I think if you've got an Android, and I think it's available on for iPhones as well. Go onto your app store, have a look for the official Fernando app. The app itself is free. You've just got to
Pay
pay
for
like
the emoji.
$1 or €1 or 89 pence
Yeah.
to download the actual emojis. But by God, they are worth it. I think I've managed to. We've got our little private chat group running between the 4 of us.
Yeah.
Off air, and I think I've managed to shoehorn one in every conversation.
I think so. Yeah, that is pretty good.
Yeah, Fernando does approve of that.
And it's not boring yet.
No, well, no, that's the thing. There's that many of them. You can just use different ones all the time.
Yeah, it's fucking ace.
What's next on the news list?
What's next on the news list? Well, we're kind of sticking with Williams because that's what Paul di Resta's doing for 2017.
Which is bizarre for Williams, isn't it? Keeping on a third driver.
Yeah, the question is, who actually pays for him to go to the races? Because he's a Sky pundit as well. So who buys his plane ticket?
It must be Williams. Well, he's a Mercedes driver, isn't he? He's a Mercedes DTM driver.
He drives Mercedes in DTM, he's Williams reserve driver, and he's Sky's analyst.
Well, right, let's be honest here, okay, right? He is one of the better analysts I've seen on television.
I think it's brilliant.
Driver analyst. He's absolutely spot. He picks out things that even seasoned veterans have missed, like from the start of races and things like that. He'd be like, no. Like, for example, Martin Brundle might say, oh, well, that collision at turn 1 started with Raikkonen sliding that way. They go back to Paul di Resta a few minutes later, and he'll be like, no. So I see why Martin said that it started with Raikkonen sliding, but let's have a look at what caused Raikkonen to slide. I don't know. Sergio Perez was on the...
Turns out 3 cars back, it was the start of the domino effect, which Raikkonen had to get out of the way of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Raikkonen was... You could see Raikkonen checking his mirrors and seeing that there's cars coming at him faster than they should. And he's a great analyst. So if Williams have got Felipe Massa and Lance Stroll in that car, obviously Massa's given them a wealth of experience and, sort of come out of retirement for one more go at it. Roy the Rovers style. And
has there ever been a shorter retirement in any sport?
I don't know.
Not sure. I can't wait to see how he does.
I don't know whether he'll be motivated enough, but we've spoken about Massa at length in previous podcasts.
Well, it's going to go on.
How he'll never have a more glorious retirement, etc.
Do you know what? I think we'll see a better Massa than we did last year, because there were times when he was phoning it in, and I think he's got all that out of his system now.
Oh, the only thing is, because he obviously, let's face it, he jumped before he was pushed.
He doesn't want to.
Yeah, he thought there isn't going to be a seat for me.
Yeah.
So there's the 2 younger guys.
So now, does that mean he can relax into a season and he's got an extra year in Formula 1 that he could just enjoy, or does that make him the most desperate driver in the grid because he really doesn't want to leave Formula 1?
No, I think he's going to feel under pressure from Lance Stroll as well, and he will feel that he has to put Lance Stroll in his place as the new boy and Massa being an experienced
that's what
guy.
I mean. But
if that doesn't happen, then we might see Massa phoning it in sort of halfway through the season. But what I was the point I was aiming for with that is Lance Stroll's not going to be able to give them an awful lot of feedback coming from European Formula 3 in comparison to the old Formula 1 cars. Do you know what I mean? Like sort of any era of Formula 1 sort of going back as far as last 7 years, 2010. Whereas Felipe Massa is going to be able to. Felipe Massa is going to be able to give them feedback, and technical feedback is going to come from Paul di Resta. Paul di Resta is going to be able to add to that. there might not be a need for a third driver if they'd held on to Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Massa for another season. But because they got Lance Stroll in the car, and he's only really going to know what this year's Williams is like, and he can only compare it to his European Formula 3 car,
which is basically a stock model with minute tweaks.
Yeah, and
so I don't think there's anything actually bespoke in Formula 3, is there? Everything is.
I don't know if they make their own chassis or not.
No,
no idea.
No, I think they are. It's a series
stock
chassis.
formula.
Yeah,
and the.
I thought you were looking that up for a second.
No.
Oh right.
No,
okay,
and the. Yeah, so he's not going to have anything to compare it to. So purely for another point of technical feedback, holding on to Paul di Resta is a great choice.
And do you know what would have been a better choice? I think it would have been a better choice to stick him in the car.
Yeah, I think that as well, because I actually think Felipe Massa might spit the dummy at some point during the season. If it's not going his way and Lance is strolling it over his teammate, then I think Felipe Massa could just spit the dummy and say, you know what, I should have fucking retired in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, he might spin out in Monaco, for example, and go, you know what, I live around the corner, see you later, I'm not going back to the factory. You take your contract, take your $5 million, just keep it.
I don't think he'd do that. I think he's too professional. He wouldn't want his legacy to end like that. But
you never know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You never know what might happen with Felipe Massa. And
see, I'm not completely going against the idea that Lance Stroll is going to be fucking awful.
Well, it could be. Could well be.
Maybe
the rest is an insurance in case Lance Stroll is what Max Verstappen could have been.
Yeah.
A crashy teenager, really crashy teenager.
And I was right. It is customer chassis. They're all the chassis are Dallara.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, hopefully, like, that no one gets hurt through the season, obviously, but with faster cars and cars that are all of a sudden more difficult to drive, a third driver will get a race this year. I think.
You think?
Somebody will end up doing something and having a boo-boo.
Well, funny you should say that. Pascal Wehrlein obviously not being at the first test. It's been 4 weeks since the Race of Champions.
Yeah, he's still in hospital. They're trying to look for a personality.
Yeah, he's still banged up from that, and he's not fit enough to drive. Now, the second test is the week after. What if he doesn't make that? Are we going to see Giovinazzi in the Sauber at the start of the season?
Possibly. He's
because Giovinazzi will obviously be getting time in the car.
Yeah.
From what I understand is it's not an awful lot to do with the fact that Wehrlein's had an injury. It's that he has to allow it proper time to recover, because he can't build the extra strength that all the drivers are needing to build into their driving.
And he is one of the smaller drivers.
Yeah,
as well.
to deal with the extra G-force, because there are going to be, with the cars being a little bit slower on the straights and being a lot faster around the corners in 2017, the drivers need to work out quite a lot more in order to strengthen their necks. Now, if you've been told to rest your neck for another week and rest it for another week,
it's not his neck that's the problem. It's his back.
Is it his back?
It's the back injury that's officially keeping him out.
Right.
So
I thought we were still on the neck thing, but
are you sure that wasn't just the fact that I told him to want his neck in?
Well, that might well be it. But I mean, you've seen pictures of I don't know if anyone saw the picture of Carlos Sainz. Was it last week or the week before? Carlos Sainz like really getting into intense
lifting weights
training
with his neck.
Yeah, like intense training, and a lot of the drivers are going through intense training. Esteban Ocon is still working on his strength. Again, a driver who only came into the sport in the middle of last year.
Yeah.
So he's still got quite a way to go to build up his strength. We spoke last week or the week before about Lewis Hamilton and how pencil-necked he was in his first year, and then second year he came back and he was Hulk Hogan neck.
Yeah.
Esteban Ocon, I think, is trying to do the same. He's going to, the drivers have to build up that extra strength and they have to have extra muscle to deal with the forces that are going to shift them around in the car a lot more than they did last year. So if you are injured and you're not able to train, that's not only putting you back because you're injured, it's putting you back because you can't train.
Yeah. Which does lead me to think I don't think we'll be seeing Wehrlein at the start of the season.
Has it been confirmed that Giovinazzi's in the Sauber first test?
Yes.
Here's a thing. It wouldn't be unknown for Sauber to make iffy business decisions when it comes to drivers.
Felipe Nasser.
No, I
Gino
meant...
van der Garde?
Yes. So, could it be that someone's come along with more money and all of a sudden they have buyer's remorse?
And their doctor's like, nah, you're not well, mate. I don't know about that. Antonio Giovinazzi was at the launch of the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, the new SUV that Alfa launched.
Easy for you to say.
Alfa Romeo Stelvio. Sounds like a sugar replacement, doesn't it? But Ferrari are flaunting him. You know what I mean? They must believe he's some sort of thing. And also, there are two mock-ups that I've seen of the Ferrari for 2017 have got the Alfa Romeo logo in quite prominent places as well.
Well, they are talking about bringing Alfa back, aren't they?
Yeah, and I was wondering if Alfa might have some sort of thing with Sauber, whether because it would make sense.
I think the Alfa logo on the Ferrari is kind of an insurance policy because if the car turns out to be a dog and breaks down, they can just blame the Alfa parts.
Yeah. Well, but what's your man?
Sorry, I went on Clarkson for a minute there.
What's your man, the little Nazi that's in charge of Ferrari?
Maurizio Arrivabene.
Yes. He's turned around and not counted out a return of Alfa in a sporting capacity in Formula One.
Did anyone see? Do you mean Sergio Marchioni? Sorry.
Marchioni.
Yeah, sorry. Did anyone see the Welcome to 2017 video that Arrivabene put out in Italian?
No.
He was halfway through one of his sentences, and Kimi Raikkonen entered the frame and gave him a big hug, put him right off kilter. Raikkonen using a sense of humour, and it looked like we got a glimpse of the 2017 Ferrari overalls, which have no white on them at all, other than the Santander logo.
Wow.
I did finally watch the Christmas episode of the Grand Tour this week, the one where they kill off Kimi Raikkonen. Spoilers.
They killed Kimi Raikkonen.
Well, have you seen the Grand Tour?
No.
Right. Instead of having celebrity guests and star in a reasonably priced car, because the BBC wouldn't let them do that, they've got this thing called Celebrity Brain Crash, where a celebrity makes their way through wherever they're filming to the tent that they're filming in. And normally they've actually used real celebrities and killed them off in a variety of ways.
They're legally not allowed to have a guest in the studio, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why
Really?
Why all the special guests are seen outside of the studio, walking towards it. And on the Finnish one, which was the Christmas episode, they had Kimi because they wanted to find a Finnish racing driver. They did make jokes about Rosberg not being Finnish as well.
Amazing. Taking
credit for that. Didn't mention the word Rosbergia though. Very disappointing. And he was walking through the woods to where the tent was.
They didn't listen to our podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he drank himself to death before he got there.
That's amazing. That's the best thing ever.
Yeah, you just see a guy walking through the woods, dressed head to toe in Ferrari gear, swigging a bottle of Finlandia.
And then he collapses.
And then he collapses in a heap on the floor, and they said that he drunk himself to death and his liver had exploded.
That's tremendous. That's just amazing.
I advise anyone, if you haven't got Amazon Prime, you can get like a month's free trial.
Yeah, get it for the free postage.
Yeah. Get a month's free trial. Watch every episode of the Grand Tour because it is really funny. It's like Top Gear with money.
We should get an Amazon link. Then people can go to Amazon, do that, and kick us some money.
I don't think you get it for Prime subscriptions.
Who knows?
No, we'll think about that. Yeah,
anyone from Amazon's listening.
Merchandising has come up in conversation a lot this week.
Yeah, I've been doing some designs.
Yeah, we'll put the appeal out now. Anyone owns a t-shirt company and you want to take a punt on us, get in touch.
Yeah.
Or
an internationally shipping t-shirt company.
Yes, because we've even had people tweeting from about 5 different countries saying we're ready to buy as soon as you're ready to sell.
Yeah, and we're talking mugs, cups, hats, t-shirts, hoodies.
Dan.
We can't sell Dan. We wouldn't be saying ever again.
Well, I'm willing to take that chance.
We can sell Dan to pay for Dan.
We can lease Dan.
Rent-A-Dan.
I'm going back to the running order.
Do that.
I'll go back to the running order. James Allison is now officially with Mercedes. His garden is pristine. There is nothing more that he needs doing on it. His gardening leave is finished. He can join another team.
Which is wonderful because he's had about the same amount of time to garden as Paddy Lowe was given.
I'm just happy
when he left
trimmed garden.
Mercedes. It's a fine fettled garden you've got there, James Allison.
Quality topiary.
If you remember, when James Allison left Ferrari in the summer of last year, it was all to do with the unfortunate personal circumstance behind James Allison. He wanted to spend more time with his family and his children, and he wanted to be closer to home and things like that. But what they've done is essentially replaced Paddy Lowe with James Allison. But whether or not he remains in the UK and doesn't actually come to as many races remains to be seen. What we heard from Ferrari and James Allison when he left Ferrari might have all been poppycock, basically to do with we weren't getting on, so we'll just say this.
Yeah.
And it's a strange move. Do you know what I mean? Like for Ferrari we knew it was odd when Ferrari and James Allison parted ways because it was just like, well, is he going to go to McLaren? And apparently McLaren asked James Allison's people, we'd like to speak to James Allison, and they were told you can't speak to James Allison. He's already tied up with another team. So this has been in place for a long, long time. Yeah. It's not a surprise. It's not really news. It's just confirmation of the fact that of news that we were expecting.
There is one slight difference between his position within Mercedes and Paddy Lowe's, in that James Allison will be reporting direct to Toto, not at the same level as him.
Yeah. Paddy Lowe and Toto sort of ran it together, didn't they?
Yeah.
He's still a technical director, though, isn't he, James Allison?
He's a technical director, but not. Paddy Lowe's job was executive director, technical.
Right, there you go.
But he's an aero guy, isn't he, Allison? He's a designer. So I imagine that's where his focus is going to be.
And I wonder how much input he had on the Mercedes car during his inverted commas gardening leave.
Maybe, but those plans would have been in place because they always reckon that when someone joins a team, it's a year before they're present. Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. Although maybe he went for like an informal cup of coffee at the Brackley.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no,
he might have done.
He was showing them, I don't know, say a packet of cigarettes that Arriva Benny had sold him, and he just happened to drop his pen on the inside of the packet and it just landed in the shape of a design.
Yeah, I think
when I say impact, I mean it's not going to. I don't expect the Mercedes to look completely different. He won't have had a chance to redesign the whole car. But
there's going to be more of him on Ferrari than Mercedes.
Yeah, but you might look at the 2017 Mercedes and be like, wait a second, what have they done with the end plates on that front wing, or something like that? Yeah. He might have come in and gone, oh shit, no, don't do that, do this, and they'd be like, well, have we got time to change that? It's like, well, if you have, change it. Yeah, maybe just something small. You know what I mean?
It could be. I think it's just the fact that everything on a Formula One car has to talk to each other, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, and well, if he's a non-executive technical director, then perhaps he will be at most of the races, especially if he has to report to Toto, who is at every race.
Yeah,
being the head of Toto's job title is weird as well. Isn't he head of Mercedes Motorsport?
Yeah,
not just Formula One, all of Mercedes Motorsport.
Don't forget though the difference between James Allison's role now with Mercedes, Brackley-based Mercedes, and Italian-based Ferrari.
Yeah,
he was expected to spend most of the year and time in between races in Italy.
Right. Okay.
Because Mercedes are in, what is it, they call it the Golden Circle or something, or the area within an hour's drive of Silverstone, where a lot of the teams are based. He's going to be there.
Also, did you read when I asked you to read out the press conference, or rather the press package that Toto allegedly put out from Mercedes.
Oh,
It
spot the
was-
cliche.
I said it was a good game to count the cliches that Toto had put in this apparent quote. It was all things like we know. Go on, you got to find it and read it out.
I'll bring it up. I should have.
I think it's worth reading out because count the cliches is a good game. Cringe at the cliches is another good one. It's almost like cut and paste. You know when you would sign a driver in Grand Prix Manager and it would put out a press statement for you?
Yeah.
That's what came out of Toto Wolff's mouth.
Right, I can't do the accent, but Toto Wolff's statement. I am delighted to welcome James to Mercedes and very much looking forward to working with him.
That sounds grand.
Our technical team is extremely skilled at every level.
Ding!
And at the top of its game.
Ding!
After delivering 3 World Championships in a row.
Bing!
It wasn't an easy task to find the right personality.
Bing!
Who can strengthen our experienced group of engineers.
Ding!
Give our talented young team members the space to develop.
Ding!
And also bring his own vision to this role.
Bing!
James is a sharp engineer.
Bing!
I think we found the perfect guy.
Bing!
And the right fit with our senior leaders.
Bing! It's awful.
It's made of cliches.
It's so devoid of actual personality, and we know Toto's got personality, but that's awful. I wonder if that's not Toto just had to sign that as a say that.
Whatever you say, Deborah.
Or he got a phone call. Toto, this is what I'm saying for you, and he was busy having lunch with Susie or something like that, and he was just like, yeah, that's fine. Just put the phone down there. And he read it afterwards.
That is so devoid of personality. James Allen could have written it.
No.
There were
Don't
things in
ever
that.
say
Wait,
James
hang
Allen
on a
hasn't
second.
got a personality. He has a hateful personality.
There were things in that press clipping.
All right, Craig Slater then. Is that better?
No, he's certainly got a hateful personality.
There were things in that press clipping which were right. Therefore, James Allen didn't write any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Also, it didn't mention Lewis Hamilton, so it couldn't have been written by James Allen.
James Ellison's the Piers Morgan of motorsport, isn't he?
James Allen.
No, Allen. Sorry, not Ellison. Sorry, Mr. Ellison.
What, a complete cunt?
Yeah.
All right, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you can have that. We'll start Mercedes because Toto and Nicky have signed new contracts, keeping them with the team until 2020.
Now, Toto, I can understand because Toto is the
Although
boss man.
whoever designs the Mercedes media site might want to have a think about the size of the font that they use, because
I'm just going to sneak around and have a look at your laptop.
Yeah, because you go into the press releases section and it's got the headline. Unfortunately, Mercedes didn't have room to fit all the words in. So it actually says, Toto Wolff and Niki Lauda renew contracts with Mercedes to end.
Oh.
They didn't have room for the last 5 characters, which was space 2020. So you look at that and not think it's like Toto Wolff and Niki Lauda renew contracts with Mercedes to end.
So that means the
world.
The jury is still out on exactly what a Niki Lauda is.
Exactly, because Toto Wolff completely understand. You know, he's,
Team boss.
Team boss did really well when he was doing
Head Austrian.
Yeah, doing really well. Yeah, doing really well at Williams. Took over at Mercedes. Won 3 World Championships. Of course, you want to hold on to him.
Yeah.
Now, Niki Lauda is a non-executive chairman who says wrong things when he's caught by the media and Toto isn't around.
He did. It's not the fact that he says wrong things. He just says what he wants to say. So, as far as Niki Lauda is concerned, what he's saying isn't wrong.
Well, no, what he's saying isn't wrong, but when Toto says something and then it's too late. Niki Lauda's already said something else. Did Lewis and Nico have a bit of a verbal argument in the truck? Toto's gone. No. You know, we tried to keep them apart. We talked to them. You know, they're grown up. They're adults. We know what's going on. They know what's going on. We speak to them. They speak to us. Of course, they're disappointed because they're 2 competitive drivers. Blah blah blah.
Niki Lauda walks in.
Niki Lauda. Yeah. Oh yeah. So they had a terrible fight. Fists flying and everything. Chairs out the window, it was terrible. But I don't blame them. I used to be a racing driver too, you know.
You know Lewis's little dog? Little dog. Nico kicked little dog.
Poor Roscoe.
So yeah, they are going to be running the team for another 4 years till the end of the 2020 season.
Excellent. For Mercedes.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, we don't know if it's broke yet.
It's a good job one of them didn't throw a paddy.
Dun bam bam bam.
Bing. I didn't get a bing in there earlier. I had to put one in. Put that guitar down. You're not using it yet. It doesn't.
No, I
come on the
was
running order.
going to, but I was thinking of using it every time somebody made a
You're
poor joke.
fucked with my game today because you've been shit since we've started doing the game. You've won 2, haven't you?
And Dan's got 2.
Yes.
I got Charlie Whiting and Gerhard
50%
Berger.
of the talent is not here.
Exactly. And Dan's got Tommy Mackinnon and Roland Ratzenberger.
Yeah.
I have also taken part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a feeling we might go to Clue 10 today.
Oh crap! I'm Caterham, aren't I?
Yeah. Because of the fact that your teammate is a bit of a biffer,
You know, I'm the one that mixes this. I can make you sound like a Dalek if I want.
I've actually given you a retard bonus of an 11th question.
Right, I'm determined. I'm not going to need it. Oh God. Where are we? Yes, Mercedes. So they're going to carry on with the success that they've had from the last 3 years. I don't think it'll all fall apart for them this season under the new regs because the regs aren't revolutionary.
Yeah.
Are the other teams going to get closer? Well, we'll know in just over a month.
We will indeed.
I'm still not counting out Red Bull coming out and being 3 seconds quicker than everybody else.
Next week we not this time next week, but next
We will know nothing apart from how many sandbags every car is carrying.
Oh come on, that's
Mercedes-
a lie because when Mercedes turned up was it 2015 and Mercedes turned up, Nico Rosberg did 167 laps, which was like 100 more laps than anyone else managed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah. Okay, so that worked. We'll know which teams are bag sanding next week
Yeah.
when Toro Rosso are 8 seconds faster than everyone else.
Toro Rosso apparently are changing their livery entirely.
There's been something, it was either mocked up or leaked, and it's kind of a light blue.
The diet red.
The Diet Red Bull. I can't understand the concept of Diet Red Bull. It's an energy drink, so it's meant to like fill you full of sugar and caffeine.
So take the sugar
So
out.
take the sugar out.
So you're still getting full of caffeine.
Have a coffee.
I would
with a spoon of sugar.
I think it's got to be 10 years since I've had drank any type of energy drink. Oh no, it's not. There was that fucking horrible.
Oh yeah, the
Kibitsa juice.
The Kibitsa drink that I made us all do a live taste test of, and
It was
even though they
rubbish.
sell it in our local Tesco for 50p a can, I've never felt the urge to buy it again.
No, it's terrible.
But I mean, that was even worse for me because obviously I thought that was horrible. It was fucking vile. But I thought it was vile, and I already hate energy drinks. So it was like drinking.
So it was really vile.
It was like drinking Xenomorph cum. It was fucking horrible.
That's one way of saying it.
Alien 4, it's spooged. Oh, bloody hell.
What's next?
How do you follow that? Data sharing. Or
Data
rather,
sharing?
Not liking data sharing.
What's this, like peer-to-peer Napster shit?
Well, Lewis wants to end unfair data sharing.
He has clarified these comments.
To be fair, I don't disagree with him.
Is this about his unreleased album that he's gone all Metallica on?
No.
Because somebody's actually got to hear a track.
Oh, grand.
Well, no, they haven't.
He's always said this, and he tweeted about it to clarify what his situation was. And as they said, it's not that he doesn't want to share data with people, but he doesn't understand why a driver can turn up, be on their A game, do everything right, and then the other driver benefits from
Because they get to copy him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the words were,
yeah.
I go out, do my laps, do all my homework, and the other guy can see everything.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. And you know, he was talking about, all right, okay, well, he's braking 5 meters later there and taking a slightly different line, so I'll just do that, and then you know, your teammate makes 5, you know, makes up those 500s that he was down or whatever. And
especially Lewis, because he is an inventive racing driver.
Yeah, I do understand where he's coming from. I mean, I also think it's important for younger drivers to sort of learn. So in that respect, I would quite. It's a tough one because if I'm Esteban Ocon, I kind of want to see what Sergio Perez is doing.
Yeah.
But if I'm Lewis Hamilton, I don't want Bottas or Rosberg seeing what the fuck I'm doing.
No.
If I'm Danny Ricciardo, I don't want Max seeing what he's doing.
Villeneuve side of the garage spoke French when they were. When he was in a battle with Damon Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing though, isn't it? Does it make that all of a sudden 20 teams?
Yeah.
Kind of. Because the teams want to do what's best for the team.
Schumacher shared data with Barrichello.
He shared it with Barrichello, but he didn't share with Irvine.
But of course, when Schumacher gave his data over, he had to have it after he was finished. And he got a little bowl by the back door.
I think Schumacher shared some of his data with Barrichello. He actually crossed out quite a lot of things.
Actually,
hid stuff from him. That's the story that I've heard anyway.
History dictates that more often than not, Schumacher copied Barrichello's setups.
Yeah.
Because Barrichello, by all accounts, fucking genius.
Yeah, could set up a car in seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, hence why he was so successful early on in his Formula 1
Yeah.
career. It's just when he went to Ferrari and literally got number 2.
And Jensen benefited from that greatly, I think, in Brawn, because they were often running the same setup in the car, but Jensen was given the same piece of equipment, was quicker than Barrichello.
He was a Dave Flynn of Formula Lee.
Not the Ed Forsyth.
No, sorry, Ed.
Just got to get that one in. I think with some teams and driver pairings, it will work better sharing data, because certainly with Renault, because you're gonna want a more competent driver to share their information about where to brake and where to accelerate with Jolyon Palmer.
Yeah.
Like, not on a wet zebra crossing.
Yeah. See, somebody should have shared with Max Chilton that he could accelerate.
Oh, is that what that pedal does?
Pedal on the right, Max.
How many gears?
Oh, good lord, I thought I was driving my Cortina with only 4 gears in it. Didn't realise I had an extra 4.
Boulder Dash.
But I think you're saying with Lewis being an inventive driver, I can see where he's coming from on this.
Which circuit was it this year? There was a circuit. It might be one of the new ones. I can't remember. Or there was a corner changed on it, and Lewis took a completely different line. He won the race as well.
Yeah.
But he took a completely different line through a corner than the grid did, and that was the part of the circuit where he was making up a bag of time. So
was it the last 2 corners at Mexico?
I think it was.
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah,
coming out of the baseball stadium.
Coming out of the baseball stadium, he ran a lot wider.
Yeah,
than
that was
Vettel
it.
did the same.
Yeah.
Him and Vettel were doing the same thing, but because I don't think the Ferrari was so suited to that line that Vettel was taking.
Yeah.
Either that or he'd studied what Hamilton was doing.
But even in the same car, Rosberg couldn't work out what Hamilton was doing or why he was doing it.
Yeah, and even if Rosberg got closer in the baseball stadium, Hamilton was gone down the straight.
Yeah. So I in an ideal world, a Formula 1 team would have one driver. If you were looking for pure racing, a team would have one driver, and that team would be built around that individual person, and we would have 22 teams on the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fucking brilliant. That's probably what Formula Lee would evolve into.
See, Seb would be your Ferrari driver. Kimi would be your Alfa Romeo driver.
Yeah.
Mercedes.
Jensen would be your Mercedes driver. Jensen would be your Mercedes driver.
Let it go. Let it go.
I am one with the wind and sky.
Something like that.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
I think so.
No, I am aware of the song.
I must admit,
it's the one they use on the Meerkat.
I think that's
I
think that's the line, and I've always been a little bit confused, considering that it's all in a fucking winter wonderland, which turned everything to ice. How that line was, and let it go. I am one with the wind and snow.
Lazy songwriting. Maybe the rhyming dictionary website was down that day.
What the master writer or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Rhymezone.com. I've had to sometimes songwriting. I've had to be like, it needs a rhyme, and I can't think of it
And I ain't got the time
to find a rhyme.
That's all you need to do. Rather than use that, just win.
It's my time to shine. Let's move on.
Yeah.
You're lyricked out for the year. Tavo Helmond. Yeah, he was ambitious, wasn't he?
He was
A little bit too. Wanted to buy Mana for 22 million. No.
It was
that-
what
that-
he and his people valued the Mana Formula One team at, and Mana were looking for apparently closer to 50.
Yeah. I think 22 would have paid about a week's interest.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what's better?
What then to have an underfunded team come in?
Oh no, yeah. Oh, I'm fucking happy they're gone. Like the bit
There's still a chance that there could be an 11th team on the grid that don't lose the licence until after the third race.
Fucking gonna happen.
This isn't me going, oh, I want another team to come in.
No, it's not gonna happen. I think Formula One, especially in its rebuilding process, would be fucking fools if they even allowed it to happen. Yeah. Remember the bit in Batman, in the 80s Batman, where the Joker shook that guy's hand and he electrocuted him, and he fried in front of him, and everyone else left the room, and he's speaking to him, and he starts laughing and saying, "So, well, I'm glad you're dead," and starts laughing, just saying, "I'm glad you're dead." That's kind of the way I feel about Mana.
Ooh. I'll tell you what, the paper that Hellman did the interview with, where he revealed this, I think this will become your favourite name for a newspaper ever.
Go on.
It definitely will be Lee's.
The Daily Stunner.
Nearly. You do not know how close you are.
Go on.
The Austin American Statesman.
I'm in. I want it to be like the birthday cards which had a little I like have a little speaker and stuff in, and every time you turn the page, the glass smash.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
I can't believe you actually tweeted it was going to be Steve Austin. I bow to your levels of genius. Shall we give him his ego bit?
Why? What's next?
Oh, get the guitar, Chris. Now with its own theme tune.
Who's doing the theme tune? Which band?
You.
Yeah, which band?
I want it in the vocal styling of Liam Gallagher.
Who's the total shines? Who's the total shines?
You do realise you're not going to have to bring that guitar with you every week.
Yeah. Chris, I've got one upstairs.
Have you?
It's not in tune.
It's not in tune. It's only got 3 strings and there's more than 5 holes in it. But apart from that,
It's got no
So
holes.
next week then will be Liam Gallagher.
It's got no holes because it's got duct tape on it, and it's got all strings.
Excellent.
Are we ready?
after that, how can we not be?
I started motor racing in 1961.
1961.
Right.
Motor racing in 1961. So 1961 world champion in Formula One was Phil Hill. So
It won't be him then because
no, I've got Phil Hill's book as well, which goes through like track racing and things like that. So started motor racing in 1961. So we're looking for somebody probably born during the war.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be sort of wartime, isn't it? So
During the war.
So they would really be in their 70s now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, go for the next one.
Well, hang on. Let's think of people, notable people who were in their 70s.
Notable people.
Nicky Lauda in his 70s.
Bits of him.
Oh dear.
Actually, even I feel bad after saying that. So yeah,
or possibly, you know, it was the era 60s, 70s. Could be dead racing driver, of course.
possibly, yeah.
Is Jackie Stewart in his 70s? He's still very alive.
Easily in his 70s. I mean, you know, he
3-time world champion, wasn't he? 71, 73, 75, something like that. Or 69, 71, 73. I know that there's he's like missing teeth. There's a missing year between each of his world championship wins.
I'm not saying this is going to help or hinder.
It's not necessarily Formula One. It's motorsport.
Yeah. Then you could be looking at somebody like Emerson Fittipaldi, who would be around about that age.
Emerson, no, not quite. Emerson Fittipaldi was racing Formula 3 when European Formula 3 when James Hunt was doing European Formula 3, and that was early 70s.
But it could have taken him a while to get there.
Could have done, actually, yeah. From Brazil.
Yeah.
Let's go for a second clue, please, Lee.
In Formula 2, I amassed a total of 29 victories.
Good God.
Wow, that is impressive. I mean, Formula 2 used to mean something.
Yeah, it used to be the step down from Formula 1 many, many years ago.
I mean, in a lot of the non-championship races, they used to have Formula 2 cars racing alongside Formula 1 cars, and sometimes they would actually put up comparable times.
Yeah, and you know, depending on well, you know, looking at the 1964 Monte Carlo rally when a Mini won. You know, it wasn't one of the big powerful cars. It was a Mini because it was the best set up car.
Yeah, don't forget, I hear this fact every time I go for a pint with Steve Mitchell.
Because they won of course, yeah,
Yes.
because they won the 1964 Monte Carlo rally.
Yeah. He tells me all the other achievements about minis and.
So we're looking for somebody who we don't know whether they are successful in any top level motorsport, but Formula 2.
Formula 2, not far off top level.
Well, no, yeah, but I mean,
not
29.
Not far off top level motor racing, but
decimated it by the looks of things. 29 wins.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's any other particularly notable motorcyclists
In the
that
70s.
went onto four wheels and did Formula 2, never made the step up to Formula 1, but just to prove, because he used to get them saying they could race anything.
Yeah, you did. To be fair, should we go for another clue?
I think,
Because all we've got really is somebody who started motor racing and was good in Formula 2.
Yeah, and are going to be in their 70s.
Ish.
I won the London Trophy race at the Crystal Palace circuit, beating Graham Hill.
The Crystal Palace. I've got to admit, I just thought that was an athletics track.
Absolutely no fucking idea what it is. No idea.
Because Crystal Palace was just synonymous with athletics.
Yeah.
Football violence.
I have heard of motor racing taking part. I don't know whether it's.
Don't think Palace fans are all that violent.
Were they never?
No, the only Crystal Palace fan I actually know is Chris Wilson. I don't think
Suppose
he's
same
all that
here.
I suppose
he's not all that violent.
No, not at all.
I suppose people in Crystal Palace can't throw stones.
I think we've got an extra retard question here, haven't we, as well? So
We've got one asking the question.
yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna.
You've only just picked up on that, haven't you?
I'm gonna go for another clue. I think because this is.
I have driven in the 24 hours of Le Mans, winning it once.
You see, now I'm thinking if we're thinking of perhaps a posthumous driver, somebody who took part in many Formula 2 races, perhaps won a Formula 1 World Championship, and then maybe won Le Mans.
Won a Formula 1 Championship posthumously. Jochen Rindt would be.
Jochen Rindt won it posthumously.
He's the only one.
Was that 1970?
Yeah.
I was thinking Jim Clark. I don't know whether he won Le Mans. I think he may have done.
He did have a habit of winning everything that he turned his hand to.
Pretty much, yeah. He was a rally driver, and then he went on to single seaters after that. So motor. Hang on a second.
Don't forget with Formula 2, you did used to get the Formula 1 drivers in Formula 2 races on their weekends off.
Yeah, Jim Clark was a rally driver before he went into single seaters. So motorsport in 1961. That's quite a short time to win it. I think his first championship was 65. I think in a Cooper Climax, I believe. So let's keep that one on the back burner for now. Jim Clark, possible. What's that? Is that 4 clues we've had or 3?
Yeah, it's 4.
Right, let's go for a 5th.
In 1964, I made my Formula 1 debut.
Right, so somebody who did go into Formula 1 in 64. And as I say, I'm pretty sure Clark won his first championship in 65.
So it's got potential.
So it's not Sterling Moss. Sterling Moss is too old, isn't he? Sterling Moss was the 50s Formula 1 driver.
Yeah.
John Surtees was champion in 64. So it's not... Well, I don't think he was a rookie champion, was he? So it's not him.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. And obviously we know that it's not Graham Hill.
Did Jackie Stewart ever win Le Mans?
I
don't think he did. I'm tempted to go... Should we go with a guess of Jim Clark?
Yeah, okay.
Because he was champion in 65, so 64 as a debut. Could have won it his second year, I suppose.
Yeah, that's been done.
It has been.
I'm not Jim Clark.
Not Jim Clark.
Right, okay.
Right. I married a Finnish model.
Married a Finnish model. Finnish model.
I'm guessing it was a blonde.
Possibly.
To finish first, it must be in a finish.
Oh God.
Oh, God. You just want to get the guitar out.
James Hunt is too obvious. He didn't make his Formula 1 debut in 64, and I don't think he married a Finnish model.
No, they were all English models that he married.
I think so.
I think he did his job for flag collecting though.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I'm still thinking possibly Jochen Rindt.
Jochen Rindt.
It's.
I don't know if he ever won Le Mans.
Should we go for another clue?
Yeah.
I've competed in the Indianapolis 500 twice.
Indy 500.
Which did used to be part of the World Championship.
It did, and I know Graham Hill is the only one to have won the Indy 500, Le Mans and the Monaco Grand Prix. Is he the only one to win the Triple Crown?
The Triple Crown. We know it's not him.
Married a Finnish model.
Mika Hakkinen married a Finnish TV presenter, but it's definitely not him.
I wouldn't think it'd be Mika Hakkinen. I'm now thinking of non-British drivers in Formula 1 round about that time. Jack Brabham, for example.
Yeah, that's got potential. I mean, the age is possibly about right, and I don't know. Did he ever? It's winning.
It's winning Le Mans again, isn't
winning
it?
Le Mans. That's the thing that's throwing me. Taking part in the Indy 500, just about every F1 driver in the 60s entered it at least once.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really narrow it down a great deal. How many was that? 6.
Yes.
7, 6. So we still got a few more.
Let's
that's 7.
We still got 4.
Is that 7?
We've got
Yeah.
Don't forget we've got the extra special clue.
Go on then. Let's go for the next one.
In Formula 1, I'm a race winner.
A race winner, but maybe not a world champion.
Yeah.
Formula 1, I'm a race winner. This has stumped me a little bit, this one.
Yeah.
We need Dan's brain. We need Dan.
throw out that Jackie Hicks.
Belgian driver.
Yeah.
A little bit later than that, wasn't he?
I think he might be a little bit too late.
Yeah. 1964. Debut 1964 and won a race.
Well, one.
One in Formula One.
One in Formula One. We don't know how many.
I think I'm going to implement questions into this.
Questions.
You answer questions where
we
you have
to give an answer.
Yeah. Going to do it now.
You're making us give an answer on this one.
No, carry on.
Oh,
Only joking. Next week.
Yeah, I'm still no closer.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Another question?
I think it's going to have to be.
Number 9. I raced in Formula 1 for 4 years.
So 64, 65, 66, 67. So did Denny Hulme retire as soon as he won the World Championship?
Possibly.
Denny Hulme would have won Le Mans as a McLaren driver, almost certainly.
Yeah. No, I think you got a good call. Should we go for that one?
Or are we thinking of Bruce McLaren?
Who did win Le Mans? I'm pretty certain.
I don't know. We've only got 2 more guesses, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's okay, you've only got 2 more questions. You can technically give me an answer for each one.
Yeah.
May as well go with the last clue before we go for the retard question.
In my 4 years in Formula 1, I am a world champion.
Right. So 64, John Surtees.
Yep.
65,
Phil Hill.
No, Jim Clark,
Jim Clark,
I think.
sorry.
66, I can't remember. 67 was Denny Hulme.
The special question is probably going to be I was world champion in 1966. Oh my god, brain fade.
Second to last guess, shall we go with Denny Hulme?
Denny Hulme.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So it's the 1966
It's
champion
the 1966
then.
world
So I
champion.
can't remember.
So I'm going to say you've lost my quiz because the Spaffer question is going to give you the answer.
Oh god, it's going to be Bruce bloody McLaren, isn't it?
No, he wasn't world champion.
You're going to fucking kick yourself, Paul. I am the only posthumous Formula 1 world champion.
I'm claiming a bloody moral victory on that.
No.
I said moral victory.
No
Was
morals to
was
be
he
had.
not world champion in 1970?
What?
Jochen Rindt.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was only world champion in I think it was 1970. I might have had that wrong.
I didn't say what year he was world champion.
No, but if you said he was only in Formula 1 for 4 years, from 64,
He died in his last year,
which will make it 68.
so it must have been 60. It was. It
Well,
must,
no, that would have been 67.
must have been 67.
I'm pretty sure Denny Hulme was 67 world champion.
Not according to my facts.
Jochen Rindt was in Formula 1 from 64 to 70. Didn't compete full seasons, but raced once in 1964.
Oh yeah, that was for 4 years.
was-
The 4 seasons, I should have said. He had one race, didn't he? And then he
One
came.
race in 64, full
Yeah.
season in
that threw me.
65, full season in 66, and 67, and 68, and 69, and then 70 up to when he died.
That's what threw me. So
Do you know what?
you should claim that.
I'm
one.
claiming the point on that.
You're not having it.
Is that, well, no, given duff information.
You had an extra question.
But we're given duff
Well, we're
information.
giving enough information because
So I
1964 to 1970 is not 4 years.
And he competed in more than 4 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 complete seasons, 2 partial seasons. All right, he didn't do the Mexican Grand Prix in 1967, but No, I'm sorry.
We'll leave it to the listeners to
Yeah.
No, because
decide
I'm
on
the
that one.
quizmaster. You can't have it because you could have said it.
Right, tell you what, we're opening this up on Twitter. If you think I should
No,
get the
we're
point
not.
for that,
No, we're not.
I'm
Because
going to
it's
go on
my
last leg here.
game.
Tweet shunt yes if you think I should get the point, and if I shouldn't get the point, tweet shunt no.
Would you like to know why you're not having the point?
Why?
Because you said Jochen Rindt before that question. So you had plenty of time to say it.
But that took us away from it because I said he was 1970 world champion, and you said he was world champ. You said he was in.
He made his
sport for
debut in
4
'64
years.
and was in for 4 seasons, so it couldn't have been him.
That took
So
us away
that
from
actually ruled out.
Yeah, but
If you- if-
but you were almost there before it.
Yeah,
I
but-
can't believe I did that. I've been good with these.
Yeah, but if you'd have said I was in Formula One, I made my F1 debut in '64. I was in Formula One for 7 seasons.
You still wouldn't have got it.
I would have got it on
No,
that.
you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would.
No, you wouldn't. No way.
No, I'm claiming it. I'm claiming
You can claim what you want.
Move on.
I will claim the what's her name, Kelly Kuchu, whatever her name is from
move
Big Bang
on.
Theory, but I can't have her.
Tell you what, we'll talk about some current drivers rather than previous ones.
Let's do it.
We will talk about 2 drivers in particular who responded to something that we said last week. And we just want to say a massive thanks to James Holman and Dave Daddario.
Thank you, James and Dave.
Because, and I can't actually believe that I'm getting to say this, they are both putting 3 Legs 4 Wheels logos on their cars for the upcoming season.
On their racing
On
cars.
their racing cars.
Which
James,
is wonderful. James races in what? The Legends?
The International Legends series.
Which is cool. All like hot rod cars and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, it's sorry. I'm gonna say why I made the mistake in that thing because
Because you're a total shunt.
No,
Hashtag
they've-
shunt, yes.
they've split up his career for no apparent reason in Formula One. So they've given a statistic for when he was in Cooper and Brabham, which is 1964 to 1968, and then on the next part, it's got 1969 to 1970.
When he was with Lotus.
Yeah. So don't blame me. Blame Wikipedia.
If you scroll down the page further, there's this thing that says complete Formula One World Championship.
No, but
results.
no other
Move on!
No
We've
other
talked about
drivers
Dave
been
and
done like that.
James.
Anyway, yeah, we'll move on. We'll put it behind us.
No, I'm not happy.
Yeah, we'll put that behind us for now.
I can't believe you did that.
Hashtag shunt, yes.
No, it doesn't matter what they say. I don't give a fuck. You can't have the point.
But yeah, James races in the International Legends series, right across Europe, and he is the second place holder of the closest finish in the history of Monza, where he lost by 2,000.
Well, he's responsible for the closest finish.
Mental.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy picture that James has sent us through of that finish in Monza. It's. Did he say the computer gave it to him initially, but then it was given to the other guy on the photo?
Yes. Yep. He was down as the win, and then they actually. I think they must have zoomed in on the photo. I will download the photo and I'll put it on the website and I'll tweet it out as well.
Yeah, please do.
So
thank you very much, James, for
thank
having 3 legs, 4 wheels on your car for 2017.
Yeah, and Dave races in the...
Is it Formula 2000?
It's USF 2000 series.
Yeah.
Dave is actually looking for real sponsors as well, so if anybody wants to sponsor Dave's team, he does it completely privateer. He has
come on! You could get your name or your company's name. Then we must have people who listen to us who run businesses, own their own private businesses, and you got to be fans of a sport because you listen to us for a start. So to get your name on an F2000 car in the US, get in touch with us. We'll put you in touch with Dave, and you could be the title sponsor for an actual racing car doing real racing.
Yeah. He is looking for sponsorship, but he's very kindly said he will put a 3 legs 4 wheels logo either on the side pod or on the nose of the car.
Yeah, we're going to keep you
Next
updated with
season.
how he does as well.
Yeah, what we're going to do is going to create section on the website, and James and Dave, they're going to send us regular updates, We're going to put that on the site as well. We'll have links to their own personal websites as well. Any sponsors that they have that they want linking to, we'll be doing that. And we'll keep you updated on the progress during the seasons through the podcast as well.
Yeah.
And we now have 2 3 legs 4 wheels drivers,
which is amazing.
I mean,
and also, if you're a driver in a series and perhaps you're a little bit under duress from sponsorship or engine manufacturers or whatever, maybe you can't say that you listen, or you can have a 3 legs 4 wheels. Just get in touch with us anonymously if you can. Just let us know, and we maybe be like anonymous teacher. You ever hear the anonymous teacher things where teacher tells you goes behind the scenes of what happens in the staff room and stuff, and how nasty teachers can be to students and things.
That wasn't actually a documentary, that film.
No, it wasn't a film. It was Anonymous Teachers, an article. It's an article that gets written in various newspapers and things like that.
You mean Cameron Diaz isn't actually a qualified teacher?
And
there's that fantasy out the window.
But no, if you want to be if you're a driver who's not a privateer, and as I say, under a little bit of under the cosh from your sponsors or your engine manufacturer or whatever, so yeah, just let us know, and maybe you'll be an anonymous driver, an informant, if you will.
On the other hand, if you are racing something and you listen to this,
let us
and
know.
your team's looking for sponsorship as well,
tell us and we can put an appeal out for you.
Yeah.
We're more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
And if you want to stick a logo on as well, we can't afford to pay, but we really appreciate the 2 guys that have done it so far, and I think we were all pretty made up by this.
Yeah, no, it's pretty.
These are absolutely fantastic offers. Right, people have been getting in touch with us.
Is it mailbag time?
It is mailbag time. You haven't got a theme tune for the mailbag yet, have you?
I can make one up.
We'll have that next week.
All right, okay.
I know your songwriting process. It usually involves more vodka than this.
Yeah, in March anyway.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't live tweet that. Had quite a bit of feedback on the Sauber from today. Might as well start it off all current.
Yeah, a little bit of feedback going, because people will now, since they were listening to us warble on about it earlier, now have had a chance to look and perhaps digest a little bit of sort of what they think of the car.
Yeah. Paul Wallen appeared not to like the mock-up that we had made with the 3 Legs logo on. Love the podcast, but no. I like
no.
No. I don't know why no.
Can't buy class.
Yeah.
Love the podcast, but no.
Yeah, doesn't like the sponsorship. Sebastian Marlowe says the car looks faster and more aggressive than last year's Sauber, not as underwhelming as the Williams release.
I'd go with that. The Williams was, as I say, the only striking differences I could tell from the Williams were when you had that front view, and especially more so the rear view was the big difference.
Definitely. Zane Cosmac, I really hope I've got that one right.
Hello, Zane.
Good surname.
Yeah,
good name in general.
Sounds like a superhero.
I am Zane Cosmac on Twitter, but the name next to it is in Cyrillic, so I'm hoping that.
I think he followed me on Twitter, actually. Hi.
The first letter of his name looks like a 3.
Yes. Yeah. I thought it was a little drawing.
No, it's Cyrillic for Z.
Ah.
I think. Which upcoming car release are you guys most excited for?
McLaren.
Yeah.
McLaren, not just for livery, but for they always throw something in that sort of makes you think. Last couple of years it's been sort of the size 0 sort of getting smaller and smaller, and then last year all the cars went with it. And
a couple of years ago it was a size 0, and it's like, oh shit, we haven't got anywhere to put the engine.
Yeah, pedal, boys, pedal.
Red Bull. I want to see what Red Bull have done.
I'm looking forward to Red Bull, and I'm also looking forward to anything Mercedes we're going to put out.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Red Bull when it's in the final livery, because something tells me, because there's the new Aero Regs.
Oh, it's going to be
they're going to go. They're going to go for the bloody camo thing again, so you can't actually make it out. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Red Bull launched, looking like a Red Bull in Australia. Between now and then, it's got to be the McLaren.
Yeah. I think
Also, the complete change of Toro Rosso livery as well, if that's
yeah,
a thing.
yeah, that sounds quite cool. See, I'm more interested in seeing what McLaren are like when they hit the ground. I want to see what that car's doing, especially if that's a whole new engine.
Well, last year it hit the ground, rolled over 4 times, dug itself into the gravel, and Fernando crawled out.
Yes, but it's all well and good, this whole radical redesign of the engine. But let's face it, they haven't done very well at designing the engines at the minute. I've got this funny feeling that you might see a fast, fragile McLaren this year.
Fast and fragile rather than slow and fragile. Yeah, I think if they can they need to get the reliability right before they get the speed.
No, do you think so? Because Ron Dennis's philosophy, until he had a slow and reliable car, was always, I would rather have a fast car than a reliable car. It's easier to make a fast car reliable than make a reliable car fast.
Yeah, and then he changed his philosophy, didn't he? And then now he's out the door.
Yeah.
Changed his philosophy with he'd rather have a stable car. But that was after Fernando's accident.
Yeah.
Rather have a stable car sorry, I'm kicking the table. He'd rather have a stable car that he could then build the speed on. Which
and that hasn't worked.
No. So maybe he... maybe who knows? Maybe Zak Brown's going to give it back to the old McLaren ethos.
Yeah. Don't forget, if you've got a quick car and it breaks, you take it back to the factory, you find out what broke, and you fix that broken part, and then you put it back on the track.
The problem was with the McLaren over the last 2 seasons is they didn't have time to find all the bits that had broken.
Well, no, the problem was even if they fixed all the broken bits, they still had a brick slow car.
Yeah.
So that's why I think a fast car than a reliable car is the way forward. But realistically, you want Mercedes, don't you? A blisteringly fast car that can seem to run for fucking days.
Yeah, unless Lewis is driving it.
Yes.
Why always him? Oh, hang on. Sorry. No, that's Mario Balotelli, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Want to thank Robert Higgins for sending us a tweet while we were actually recording tonight, pointing out a story that happened during the Formula E race, because they had their first driverless robo race this weekend.
Oh, was that this weekend?
This year, was it?
Yeah, that was.
I tell you what, they did well bloody promoting that, didn't they? Because I never heard a thing about it.
It was one of the support races to the Buenos Aires E-Prix. I'm
sat here shaking my head because I can't believe that they didn't make more of that than they did.
Yeah.
Well, it had 2 starters.
Oh, Jesus.
But didn't have that many finishers.
Oh, did they both crash?
No, one of them actually made it round. It did an average speed of 116 miles an hour.
Tell you what, that's not bad.
No, it's impressive.
That's not bad. However, the other one kind of went a bit full throttle into a corner and hit the advertising banner and crashed.
See now,
and then went all Terminator and became self-aware.
This is I'm going to generalise like the whole technology here, and it's obviously much more fucking complicated than I'm giving it credit for. Yeah?
Yeah.
But it's not... Is it as difficult as we think it is to make a car go around a race circuit on its own, given the fact that we have been doing it virtually with games and simulators for years?
No, I don't think it is.
Because that's all.
Essentially, it's just a computer program, isn't it?
It's
if you're a computer programmer, you need to know what to type in.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
So if you can have an AI in F1 2017 or 2016 that has a full grid of cars throwing themselves around every circuit virtually created around the world, then what's the difference between having an actual car with AI throwing itself around an actual circuit? I wouldn't have thought there was a massive difference.
Yeah. I mean, it says on the news story that it struck a barrier.
Yeah.
Was the width of the track to the exact...
I'll tell you what the barrier...
Well, no, it's not that as well. I mean, you got to think of as well. If you've got a driver driving a car, and for whatever reason, there's a little bit of a slide.
Yeah.
A driver will naturally correct that.
It, yeah.
Computer might not be able to, and that might just snap into a wall.
Yeah, it's got another barrier as well. It's a fucking stupid idea.
No, I don't think it's a stupid idea. I think it could be entertaining, but if
why? But why? You take the human element out of it. What is the point?
it could be fun. It's a novelty thing, but it could be.
Yeah, but would you watch it? Is it if there isn't?
If the artificial intelligence
is it really sport?
No, if the artificial intelligence is acting like human, reacting to things around it, and trying to, then yeah, that would be cool. But if it's just trying to throw itself around I say just trying to, as though it's like something really, really simple. Just trying to throw itself around the track as fast as it can, like on a qualifying lap, for example. Yeah. And if another car gets its way, there's an accident. Then no, that's rubbish.
No, but even if they're racing, I don't see what the attraction is of watching the machines race. See, for me, if they were going to do something like this, the cool thing to do would have opened it up to an esport where you still had a grid of humans driving the cars, but that grid of humans was lined up in fucking simulators.
Yeah, well, Formula E already do that just without anything on the actual track, because they have that E-Vegas E-Prix.
Yeah. But that would be a cool thing to do, because like you've had people
be like remote control car racing.
But like you've had people go through the Gran Turismo driver academy. Yeah. And they've made it through into Toyota. Nissan, isn't it? To do with, and they've made it through to like becoming professional racing drivers for Nissan. If you had like the Formula E, like gaming or whatever it was for I'm struggling here because like it is like e-gaming's a thing, isn't it? I'm struggling for a name, but what I'm trying to say is, if you had people that were racing these cars remotely, and they were essentially like Formula E cars that they were racing just without people in, then you have the stepping stone to what happens when one of your esports drivers gets signed to a Formula E team.
As an actual driver.
Yeah, I think that's altogether a much more interesting prospect than watching Johnny Five.
I did notice actually the other night they were showing the World Championships of FIFA live on BT Sport.
Crazy.
I can't see anyone that was playing that becoming a real footballer.
No.
No, that's different entirely. That's physical.
Yeah. Moving on. Facebook message from Harry Staley.
Hello, Harry.
It says, "Hi guys, thanks for the great show. Cheers.
Thank you.
I have a question. Do you think that on-screen graphics make for a better viewing experience? Things like throttle brake, G-force, and speed." I think it does. Give us all the information.
As long as it's not intrusive, as long as we're not looking at a screen which has got more HUD, more
graphics than
screen.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could tidy it up a little bit from what they do use. It's all very big. And quite cumbersome when they try and show us all that. But I quite like it. It was I think they only did it a few years ago, maybe even more than that. But I'm thinking back to like Montoya days in Formula 1, where they'd have you'd be watching a battle between two drivers and the graphics would come up as to what they were doing throttle and brake wise. That was interesting. But they sort of stopped doing that for some reason.
But I mean, now we're firmly into the widescreen era. There's more space on the screen to play with. Yeah. You've got 25% more room on a screen to put the graphics, and I think having extra displays or even a separate feed that you can look at on a second screen.
Well, pushing it a step further than that, I mean, we're getting into the 4K era as well. So not only we've got widescreen, we've got widescreens with a lot more real estate on them to be had.
Yeah, that is true. Well, Sky broadcasting all races in 4K this year. Yeah. And they've now got the split screen, so you can have the one screen with whatever camera feed you want that they've made available. Either the standard world feed, pit lane, in cars, and a second screen that you can use for data.
Is that in 4K? Is that on the 4K thing?
Now, it wasn't in HD last year.
Yeah.
The extra camera feeds.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be in 4K. The only thing that I think will show in any form of high definition will be what is the world feed.
Race,
but if they can get more graphical information on there, make it available, because just about everyone's got a smartphone these days. Yeah. And the vast majority of smartphone owners have got some form of tablet as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised there isn't more of a second screen thing in other sports, to be perfectly honest.
There is in American football. I think it's ESPN that do it on their Monday night games, because they only show one game a week. and I think it's them. They've got the second screen, so you're watching the game on TV, and you've got constant stats available.
Yeah.
With the game minimised in the bottom corner of the screen on your second device.
There's a second screen option for IndyCar as well. You watch the IndyCar race and then you watch something else on your iPad to keep yourself fucking alive.
Yeah, Downton Abbey or something. 'Cause it's on a Sunday night. Got to admit, I've never seen Downton Abbey. It's got too many bonnets in it.
Oh, I love a good bonnet.
Like touring car racing.
Yeah, they're usually bonnets floating.
That'd be a good put down, that wouldn't it? You fucking right bonnet.
What an absolute bonnet.
Got another email that we got a couple of hours ago, again while we've been recording tonight, from Fraser Bird.
Hi, Fraser.
Hi guys, I only started listening in December.
Fraser Bird.
Not the Beatles song.
Is his his name's Fraser Bird?
Fraser Bird.
That's amazing.
We got good names going on. Name game is strong.
Fraser says, only started listening in December, but it's been awesome. Is it as awesome as his?
I hope he's got a Harley. Hope he's in a biker gang.
Being an F1 fan in America,
Oh, please.
particularly at college, is a lonely endeavour.
I'll tell you what, Fraser, get more of your college friends to listen to us, and then they will see the light and start watching Formula One.
That is probably a very bloody good idea.
Yeah.
Or they'll stop speaking to you.
Let me answer his question first.
Yeah, why not?
He's not done anything wrong yet. I've got a question for the show if you guys get a chance. Why is everyone assuming Mercedes will still be so strong next year? Big changes in recent history put the then dominant teams way off the mark. I don't think it's a big enough change for Mercedes to fall back.
The biggest change is as I said earlier on in the show, is the aero package, and that would point to Lee's theory that Red Bull will take over again as the dominant team. It really depends. If it was aero and engines being changed, then yeah, you'd be starting from zero again. But because the engines are not being... The design of the engines is not being changed. Mercedes had such a massive leap on everyone a couple of years ago.
Well, the design of the engines is being changed internally by the engine manufacturers. The concept of the engine hasn't been changed.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's the concept of the engine that hasn't changed, and I think Mercedes, having had that gap on everyone else, can take that advantage. It might only be small, but they can still take that advantage into 2017.
Yeah.
I don't think they will be quite as dominant. They might not be the dominant team, but they'll be at the sharp end of things. You know, they're not going to be McLaren 2009 after the World Championship win of Lewis. They're not going to be that poor where they're only winning like one race. They're not going to be way off the mark. They're going to be there or thereabouts.
Our mate Virgil
They'll
Statman
win races.
Summed up Mercedes as far as Bottas going to Mercedes perfectly last time he was on the show, when he said, if you obviously we're talking about Valtteri Bottas going there, but that Mercedes are guaranteed podiums, probably wins, possibly championships.
Yeah, guaranteed podiums. Yeah, probably win. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. But the other thing that I think might be more important for Mercedes than even the real shake-ups is how much of a hole. What's his name?
Don't know.
You do. He's got Williams.
Stroll.
No.
Paddy Lowe.
Paddy Lowe?
Yes. Well, how much of a hole Paddy Lowe is going to leave? Because that's a big character to lose just to liquid metal it and everything to come back to normal.
Mm.
I mean, because let's face it, right? Paddy Lowe was the missing ingredient in that team. It was when they coaxed him away from McLaren. When he left McLaren, McLaren fell apart and Mercedes became what they are now.
Yeah.
And I think James Allison is great.
And Paddy Lowe's a great brain.
Yeah, but what you've also got to think of, I know Ferrari's Ferrari, but James Allison left Renault, went to Ferrari, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. Now, there's nothing saying we can blame Ferrari all we want, and we say, oh, it was ridiculous them getting rid of him.
Could be James Allison.
Could be James Allison. And maybe when he did such a good job for Renault with a small budget, maybe the stars aligned where what he was given.
Maybe they didn't have the budget to get rid of him.
Yeah, and what he was given, and what the rules were at the time, maybe he brawned it, but he brawned it with a low budget.
Yeah.
So, to me, Paddy Lowe is the biggest move of the year for me. Like, it's such a. See, that's something we still don't know. We don't know whether he just wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even officially at Williams yet because they still haven't finalised anything. It's more or less a given that that's where he's going to be. But
he said that's or somebody within Williams has said that that's where he's going. He will be at Williams, and
yeah. Oh, it's just all with the lawyers at the minute.
It's probably signed. It's probably he's still on gardening leave, isn't he? So it's probably they can't actually announce it until that's done.
Yeah.
You know, he's still essentially a Mercedes employee at the minute. So
his contract's out. His contract ended at the end of last year.
I mean, James Allison is still actually technically not at Mercedes until the 1st of March.
Yeah. So, yeah, I find it massively interesting what they're going to do, and because don't forget, it's not just even a design thing; it's a man management thing. James Allison's going to go into taking a role where he's going to walk into a team full of strangers. Paddy Lowe knew all those people, and he knew what people were good at, and he knew how to manage that personnel. So I don't know if Mercedes are going to fall from the top of the tree, then this has got all the makings of it happening this year.
Yeah.
If they don't, if they come out and they're still 3 seconds a lot faster, fuck knows what's going to stop them.
Possibly. Message here from Ben Redding.
Hello, Ben.
Which era would you have liked to have been a Formula One driver in? Past, present, current, recent past? He says the mid-70s would have been fun with plenty of sexy parties.
With the Monday Night Wars.
That's wrestling.
That's wrestling.
Oh, sorry.
Come back. Wrong podcast. This is Monday, not Friday.
I'd prefer to be a pro wrestler than a Formula One driver. if I can have a job.
I'd have been a Formula One driver in the
WCW. Good answer.
Yeah, no, late 80s, early 90s. Because it's kind of when I started watching very early 90s, sort of 91, 92.
I'll pick 2046 when there's Zero G.
You just want to play Wipeout, don't you?
Yeah.
Just for reals.
Yeah.
I'd go for the original Turbo era.
Late 80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
There was just something special about the
1,000 horsepower cars with not much around them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one for me. And then just time for one final email. I think probably. Oh, should have read this one earlier.
Oh no, what have you done, Paul?
Like before we started recording, from Jonathan Mills.
Is it a summons?
Can this podcast be a clean one? Because my mum started blocking all my podcasts, and according to the stuff mum installed, your podcast includes explicit content.
Do we know how old he is?
Young enough to have his mum monitoring his.
We've been swearing.
No picture. Oh, we've been swearing.
I want to know how old he is.
Oh shit! Fuck!
Because anything over.
Fuck! I said shit.
Anything over 13, he needs to get a grip of himself. Well, anything over 13, he probably is getting a grip of himself. But the
unfortunately, because Lee is a thing.
Right, what you want to do is
we have to put the explicit flag
got it
on,
sorted.
Otherwise we get taken off iTunes.
We have to be explicit because we are foul-mouthed heathens.
I'm going to fix this problem. What you want to do is
join me and Chris next week.
Yeah,
you're going to fix this problem.
I'm going to fix the problem for him. All right. Hopefully your mum doesn't listen to the podcast, because if she does, we're all fucked. But the what you need to do is
just go careful. This is looming very close to cyberbullying.
No, get yourself.
Hashtag just saying.
Get yourself a second.
Hashtag shunt, yes.
Get yourself a second podcast app, and don't leave it on the home screen. So you've still got your dummy Facebook app, which is getting fucking mollycoddled to fuck, and then you can leave the other podcast app
Yeah, because
in the app drawer.
If you download our podcast on iTunes, that's great. Thanks very much. But what you can also do, if you really want to, is open a secret window with 3legs4wheels.com and just listen to it on the actual page.
Yeah.
That would actually work.
Because there's nothing explicit on the page.
Failing that, give her a Stone Cold Stunner and walk off.
That's Fridays. That's about it for this week's mailbag. Obviously, we've had loads of feedback from everyone. So move your microphone further away from your speaker. Sorry.
Move my
Musician's joke. Loads of feedback, so move your microphone away from your speaker.
Yes, always. Sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah, I know. It is nearly 11:30. We will try and do something about the laughter problem that somebody pointed out because we laugh too loud. So we need to put the normal Leizer.
Yeah, normal Leizer.
On the mixing. I'll try and mix it so it's a little bit quieter when we're laughing.
More compression.
Oh, great. We'll sound like a 1980s rock drum sound.
Yay.
My laugh cannot be contained.
That's 1970s disco or Pigeon Street.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to say that people that complain about me laughing are people that are trying to hold back joy.
Who's Joy?
Don't know, but there should be some sort of division for it.
Oh. On that note, if you want to get in touch, drop us an email, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com. You can get us on Twitter @3legs4wheels or...
follow me on Twitter @ATotalShunt.
I am @Flood21.
And I am Pablo100.
Also, what people can do is, if you want, if you've got a good racing driver that you want me to use for the game or something like that, tweet it to me, but send it to me as a personal message. Don't send it to our Facebook page because then everyone else will see it and we'll be able to use it. But if you send me a private message on Twitter, and you can leave, you can give me the questions if you want. If you want to take my whole fucking job off me,
then it would be somebody else's total shunt.
Somebody else being a total shunt rather than you.
Yeah, but I'm just getting the community involved.
Oh, no, good point.
Yeah, and if you haven't liked the Facebook page, come and like it.
Come over to Facebook, like the page. Just search for 3 Legs 4 Wheels. We're on there, and of course we've got the extra podcast and a few other rewards which we're on the verge of sorting out.
Yeah.
That we do for everyone that pledges on Patreon. Thank you to all our patrons. We've had a few more that have come in over the last few days. In fact, even one while we were recording tonight, which let me just see who that was.
When he hears the next Patreon podcast, he's going to have buyer's remorse.
It's Fraser Bird. We've already been talking about him tonight.
Fraser Bird.
But yeah, in the last few days, Fraser Bird has just pledged. Daniel Gustafsson, who did the sound of 3 Legs 4 Wheels.
Thanks, Daniel.
He's pledged on Patreon. Dylan Hickey pledged as well last week. So
thank you, Dylan.
Thank you to our 3 new patrons.
If he was a biker and he was in a gang, he could have like Fraser Bird written across his back.
Yes.
With on the wings of a dove.
That was by Madness.
What?
On the wings of a dove.
Yeah, it was Madness.
No.
It was the one where they were sat in a transit van and they got thrown out of the plane.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that I've
parachutes on a
made this
van.
guy a much more interesting person than he's got any chance of being, and I can only ever be upset.
And of course, if you want to hear more of Lee's ego,
That's not ego.
no, all right.
It's just a good place for me to spew my bullshit.
Yeah, if you want to hear Lee spewing more bullshit, you can listen to.
Banter Club.
Ba-dum-ba-dum-bam-bam.
Yeah, that's my pro wrestling podcast, but that's going to go through a brand change very shortly. If anyone's interested. Usually the show's about 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, we yeah.
I thought we were a bit talky with 2 hour shows.
But we're gonna start half in that, breaking down the pro wrestling side of it a little bit more. So we're not going to cover fucking everything. We're going to cover what's interesting, and then the second hour and a half that we usually record for is going to be an entirely different show. That's going to be pop culture and video game based.
Cool.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
So like a little bit what we do with the patrons.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Because on the Patreon shows we don't actually talk about Formula One. Not entirely sure what we do talk about, but I'll put a clip of tonight's show
It's
on
my
because
favourite part of recording the Patreon podcast.
we actually got somebody ringing in with an engagement announcement tonight while we're recording the Patreon
Absolutely.
show.
So congratulations.
So-
to
Never
Dee
heard
and
so
Tom.
much fucking happiness. Bits of my soul died.
You gotta love your pessimism.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. Dan's still going to be away, so it'll be me, Chris, and Marvin, the paranoid android over here.
And if you hated the way I sang and played guitar earlier, then you can find some of my music somewhere. Search my name, you'll find it.
Actually, tell you what, for next week's Who's a Total Shunt jingle, tell us who you want Chris to sound like
Yeah,
when
go
he
on,
does
do
it.
that. Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
Just for a laugh.
Yeah, send us a tweet or a
Send
Facebook
us
message.
Suggestions as to who's doing the next Total Shunt jingle, which famous singer.
Yeah, and don't forget, of course, hashtag shunt yes for me getting the point.
Yeah, well, you can do, but it's a waste of a tweet because, yeah. And to be perfectly honest, if you tweet yes, then that gives me more reason not to do it because that means I'm pissing more people off. So,
That's your reason for living, isn't it?
yeah.
Right, it's time to put you back in your box. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting a video call on my phone while from D while this podcast is going on.
Yeah, answer it.
I've answered it. Hello, D. You know that you're making a surprise guest appearance on our podcast that we're recording right now. I'm here with Flood
Hi, Dee. How you doing?
and Lee.
Hi.
Hi, D. Hi, Tom. Go on, talk. That's the microphone.
We wanted to tell you some important news.
Go on then. You're telling us and you're telling all our listeners as well.
We got engaged.
It's a live video call for an engagement. Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Well, this is a first for the podcast. You've just told us three, and tell you what, we'll put this on the main show as well. You've just told 25,000 listeners as well.
Yep. Have you told your mum and dad yet?
Sorry for interrupting.
Hey, no, that's all right. It's big news. Congratulations, guys. Gonna have to go because we're in the middle of a show that we don't normally take phone calls in, so that's even more bizarre. But yeah, really made up for you. That's all right. We'll talk to you soon.
That's awesome.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.